Simon here, coming at you with another weekly news update, review, however you want to look at it. So, got some controversy going on this week. We'll get into that just a little bit. One thing I want to start off with, though, is if anybody was at all curious about that Thursday night Project Cars League we were talking about, we still have no information on that. Nobody's come forward looking to help out or host it yet. Hopefully somebody will, but we'll see. But right now it's still in the what if phase. So we'll keep you posted on that. Other than that, we just start the reviews, get right into it, and go right to Tuesday, which is the touring cars. And this is where we're falling into our little bit of controversy. I guess there was a little. It was a difficult situation. What happened? People got upset because some people used drag tires on these races, and this is the reason it's kind of controversial, and it's just something we've never done in the GLC. Drag tires, while people have thought about it, nobody's ever actually put them on the cars to try and use them to make them faster or anything else. But this time they did, and it kind of got other people upset because people didn't do it because it's just something we don't do. But other people who haven't been around as long as everybody else, and it's nobody's taking anything away from them. It's just they used it as an advantage, and they got faster. They got more speed out of their car. They're better handling, however you want to look at it. But these people did win the night. They did better than the other people, and it's not being taken away from them. But whether it's actually been announced yet or not, drag tires are going to be banned in the GLC unless it is a drag racing event, which we don't do. So it was just a lesson learned. It's not something we ever thought would ever actually have to be said because it's just something that was never done. And not saying anybody did anything wrong, but it's just some people were upset about it. Just going to have to live with it. From here forward, you just know you're not allowed to have drag tires on a car. And I don't know whether Forza actually has the ability to lock them out like other things with all those settings. It might. I don't know. But just know you're never allowed to use drag tires again unless it's an event that calls for it. Plain and simple. Some of the guys that were up at the top of the leaderboard who didn't use them felt a little jaded, but we're just going to have to live with it. That's all there is to it. It was some interesting racing, though. They had Daytona short track, which uses only 3/4 of the oval. We had an interesting outcome as far as the leaderboard. We had Big Ramey showing up there in the third spot. So there's him still holding steady. McKinley, he came in first overall for the night, but it's only because he had the better combined points. Not that he actually won. He didn't win any of the races. He won the night, but he didn't win any of the races. He came in second spot in 2 of them. His third race, not so great, but at least he was able to finish with a decent spot to capture that first position. Another new name that I'm seeing on this score is Demand Old School. Old School did win the first race, and he had decent showings for the second and third race, but not enough to keep that first position away from McKinley, so he ended up taking second place for the night. And of course, Big Ramey. Big Ramey with 2 third-place finishes right off the end. A little bit weaker of a finish. Came in right behind McKinley and Old School, but it was enough to keep them in the top 3 spots. So those are your 3 podiums for the Tuesday night. Was McKinley taking the top spot with Old School in the second and Big Ramey there in the third. And again, drag tires, no. So just remember that from now on. Drag tires no longer acceptable on any of the events unless the event calls for it. And that's it for Tuesday night. I know everybody's wondering, what happened to Junior? And Junior wasn't there. He ended up having to go out, and life got in his way, so he couldn't show up for the night, which I'm sure makes other people happy. But I'm hoping people at least had fun. I know the guys who probably used the drag tires had a good time, and they really enjoyed it. But like I said, nothing's being taken away. Nobody's being scolded. It's just from here on out, just no. And then, of course, Wednesday we go into the F1, which hopefully if you watched Ewok's report, which, like I said, week after week, he does a fine job of it. So congratulations to Ewok for such a great job covering the F1 report. Then we go into Saturday. Saturday now. Here again, I'm going to be running a little blind because it was kind of a test night. They're trying out the new Sport GTs they're testing out a new structure for the league with the Sport GT cars. From what I'm getting, it's a real positive feedback is what I'm getting off of that. People like the cars. They're liking the structure according to what I'm hearing for reports. I'm getting the back and forth, or I'm actually looking at the conversation between the 2 people involved with what happened, because Mal wasn't there, of course. Woodle kind of just sat there running things. Well, not really running, but guiding the person who was hosting that night. And I wish I could remember. Let me see if I can call it up. I think I know who was running the night. Let me see if I can call it up real quick. It was I know you're going to be sitting there going, oh, we've got dead air. Sorry about that. But there's Mal. He's called away for the night. Woodle saying good positive feedback and asking for MX5 to be made a lobby host. I guess he has a really good connection and nobody else is having any issues, that's good. That's good. You got to have a good, stable host. It's generally why I think most people had good luck when I hosted, because I have a very strong internet, getting over 100 megabytes. But your ping also, or shall we say your what's that other word for it? Latency. That really plays a role in it too. So you can have a very good download speed, upload speed. Get a very good setting. But if you have a bad ping or a bad latency, it can still really affect it and affect everybody else. And that is a major issue when it comes to Forza. I don't know why. Well, Forza is very tough. It's the only game I know of to where people just are so affected by other people. I mean, you've literally got people, they'll sign in, but they have a problem with their connection, and another person can't be heard in a party. It really affects other people in the party. But some games, you get a little bit of that in it, but Forza is the absolute worst when it comes to that. Hopefully they'll fix that down the road, but we don't ever know. So we'll never see. So like I said, it was a test night. Positive feedback. People enjoy it. So hopefully next week they'll get underway and everything will go smoothly. Now we're going to get into Sunday. And early GTs. Early GTs, I'm trying to call up right now. I'm doing everything off of my computer here. People have been enjoying that one immensely, and you can't blame them. Mal hosts it, and Mal's a good host. He's a very good. He's a good event organizer when it comes to putting on these events, and people generally have a really good time because, well, it's Mal, and Mal's personality really shines through. What I'm seeing here, though, as far as these races, looks like in the first race for the early GTs, Greasy Wheel again, sitting up towards the top, followed by Top Dog, or T-Dog, sorry, not Top Dog, T-Dog, and MX5 bringing up top three. Mal falling just shy in the fourth spot, and followed by Lofty, Paul, then Ramey, Mickey on fire, or Michaela on fire. Oh, there we go, Michaela on fire. And then the one Rev was there, Lucky Eddie, and Infected Hot bringing up the rear. Next race, again, Greasy Wheel. It looks like Greasy Wheel just no issues, especially when Junior's not there. MX5 bringing in the second spot, followed in the third spot by Mal. Better race for Lucky Eddie on the second one. Lucky Eddie coming in the fourth spot. Lofty again taking the fifth spot. T-Dog dropping all the way down to the sixth spot. That's not like him. He's a very good racer. Must have had some issues or something. I don't know. T-Dog dropping from the second to the sixth spot. Michaela on fire, and then Paul and Ramey both dropping down, sitting down at the bottom, and then the one Rev in there, and with a DNF. So still looking good. I do believe this Greasy is really attacking that league, and he's the guy to beat. Plain and simple. Have a feeling that if as long as he continues the way he's going to take that championship for that league. And if only he could have that good of a night on Project Cars, which we're going to jump into now, because after the early GTs on Sunday, a little while later, we go into Project Cars. And it was a very nice night. Raced on Catalunya and Zahai. And of course, like I said last time, we ran in the rain. Both races again. That is rain on every race. So we're gonna figure something out when it comes to this random weather setting, because we're getting really tired to where the machine or the game you're supposed to be on random, but it ain't so random. Not when we're getting the same weather patterns week after week after week, race after race. Occasionally, yes, we'll get, once we got fog, sometimes we'll just end up with normal rain, then we'll get thunderstorm rains, but either way, it's rain, and it's constant rain. So, this time though, I did make a little bit of a setting change, hoping it would affect the randomness. I put it at night for the second race in Zahai, and I also changed the month of the year. Still we got rain pretty much the whole race. So I don't know. We're gonna come up with something. All I know is that in 2 weeks, when we go into week 5, I can guarantee, I'm telling you right now, we were gonna have one race with no rain. If I have to set it that way, it's going to be that way. But we're gonna come up with something. Next week, though, we're gonna be going into the Cup. Nothing really set up yet. We're still deciding on the car. We're still setting up on deciding on what track we're going to run and what kind of a setup. So during the week, we'll let you know. And then by Friday, you can start practicing it, hopefully, if you can, if you want to join in. And then we'll just go from there. But as far as tonight goes, Started off with no rain in Catalunya. I was driving really well. I had the lead at one point early on, was overtaken by Junior. Greasy was right there. Me and Greasy just battling it out, going around. And at one point, Junior even made a mistake. He lost concentration, went off the track, came back out, and it was the three of us. The three of us are just going around in a group, and we were just attacking it. Then the rain came, and that totally changed everything, for me at least. The two of them still had a pretty decent race. Me, I like Catalunya a lot better on Project Cars than I did on Forza. The rain really affects my driving lately. And I ended up bringing in the third spot, with Greasy just above me in the second, and of course Junior taking that first spot in the first race. Second race, we get to a high, and as I said, we raced at night. Whew, wow. That track can be really dangerous at night because there's very little light, so you rely heavily on your headlights. And at one point, Junior spun out. One of his 4 times. He spun out, and he broke his headlights. So he was racing around very, very difficultly with no headlights. I was having trouble at the beginning because we were just the warm-up rained during the race. I was having difficulty. It's not a track I really know, and I was having difficulty finding my the apexes. But we got into that race. Midway through the race, I figured it out. I knew the track a little bit, and I just said I had to attack, and I did. I raced really hard for that second half of the race. Was able to pass up Junior. Junior having difficulties in this race, spun out, like I said, 4 times. He was just trying to keep it together, at least get a decent finish out of it. Greasy was racing really well. He was having a very good race. He made one critical mistake, and I do believe it was in the pits. I think something happened with his tires. Or he went in and he was about to get the wrong tires put in, or he got the wrong tires put on. I can't remember right off the bat. But it was something strong, that was significant enough to where I was able to then catch up and overtake him, even after my pits. And I refreshed my tires because like I said, I was racing very hard, and I ended up having to change them. I ended up being able to come out into the lead, or at that point I had the lead. I ended up racing it on for the victory as well as the fastest lap. So Junior is beatable. Greasy stuck it out for the second spot. Junior bringing in the third spot. Now, of course, Ewok was in here too. He finished in the 4th spot. Not really enjoying his race night for the weekend, or should I say? And he really is getting frustrated with the rain. He can race a lot better, but he's having difficulties. Taking the 4th spot, of course, that's the last position. We had several people just that weren't there tonight. It was just the 4 of us racing. But we're going to see, like I said, week 5, we're going to have a race without rain. So hopefully we'll get some interesting racing there. But with that, Junior was the winner for the night by 1 point. He beat me out by 1 point. So it was Junior up in the first spot for the night, me in the second, Greasy taking the third spot. Of course, Ewok bringing up the rear in the fourth. Really great weekend. I enjoyed it, even though it was frustrating with the rain. I really had a good second race, so it made it a really good night for racing, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. Earlier in the day, though, we had a lot of fun with Woodle, me and Ewok. recorded the next episode of the podcast, which should be out on Wednesday. I know if you've listened to the Raimi one, while it's a good interview, there was some technical difficulties, and it's not the best recording that I could get out of it. So I apologize for that. I apologize to Raimi for that as well. But all in all, it was still a good interview. I hope you at least enjoyed it. Like I said, this next one that's coming up on next Wednesday is Woodle is the guest, and we had a lot of fun. You've really got to listen to this one all the way through, because you'll get a chuckle right from the beginning all the way to the end, and I mean right to the very end. Other than that, I'll talk to you later, GLC. I'm Gallifrey Madman. I'll see you maybe somewhere out on the tracks. Have a good night.